Hi, I'm personal trainer YUJI.
Among those who are struggling to lose body fat and are unable to lose weight, I believe there are 6 misconceptions. While they seem to be putting in effort, their way of thinking might be incorrect, or perhaps they are heading in the wrong direction. Therefore, I would like to discuss how to achieve real results and obtain a toned body in the long term. I will outline these 6 points. This is the first point. Many people think that skipping meals is a good way to lose weight. They believe that because they have been consuming a lot of calories, they should skip meals to reduce their calorie intake. This is quite common. There are still people who continue to skip meals for 16 hours, thinking that they have actually lost weight as a result. However, as mentioned earlier, while they may see a decrease in weight, it is primarily due to skipping meals for those 16 hours. Weight can indicate that body fat may be decreasing, but it can also mean that the water content in the muscles is significantly dropping. If one simply skips meals, it is important to understand that the water content in muscles can be reduced by half or more, so it is not just body fat that is decreasing. In the case of skipping meals, it is indeed easier to lose weight. To be honest, instead of skipping meals, it is better to lower calories and divide them into smaller portions, eating about 3 to 4 times a day. It is possible to lower calories without skipping meals. In other words, if the time spent without eating meals, when nutrients are not coming in, becomes prolonged, metabolism can decrease, making it easier for body fat to break down. Therefore, it is better not to create such long periods without eating. While it is said that skipping meals a little or reducing calories can activate mitochondria, as mentioned earlier, having long periods without eating has many disadvantages. Instead, it is better to reduce calories while dividing meals into 4 smaller portions, which can help activate the mitochondria. When it comes to losing weight, the method you choose is important. If you skip meals for a long time, you might see a decrease in weight, but as mentioned earlier, the water content in your body will also decrease, leading to a smaller physique. This results in a less appealing body shape. It's essential to build some muscle to maintain firmness, especially as you age, since muscle tone tends to diminish over time. Therefore, ideally, you should focus on reducing body fat while also developing muscle. If you only focus on skipping meals, you may end up being unable to manage your meals properly. While you might be skipping some meals, you could be neglecting other aspects of your diet, which raises the question of whether that is beneficial. After all, you will be living for 10, 20, 30, or even 40 more years, so it is wiser to gradually become someone who can manage their meals effectively. If you focus too much on immediate weight loss, it often leads to simply skipping meals. However, becoming someone who can manage meals is important. Even if it takes 6 months or a year, gradually acquiring that knowledge and being the kind of person who can do it is, I believe, a wiser approach that can benefit you for 10 or 20 years. I think it's better to stop dieting solely by skipping meals. Secondly, it's important not to consume deceptive foods. Well, it's not that these foods are deceiving you, but it's about not consuming foods that deceive yourself. For example, there are products like low-calorie chocolate or diet cola which use less sugar. These foods are marketed as low-calorie. While it is true that the calories are reduced or that sugar content is kept low, they still contain fewer calories than regular products. Therefore, it makes sense that they are easier to consume. However, the habit of putting something sweet in your mouth doesn't change, and you end up consuming sweet things. When I deceive myself into thinking that I shouldn't want sweets, I ultimately still crave them. If I don't correct this mindset, I will continue to want sweets because nothing about me has changed. So even if I make a choice in the moment, I still find myself unable to resist sweets offered to me by others or eating a delicious cake that I happen to see in front of me. I remain unable to control that part of myself. Additionally, there are options like zero-calorie beer or non-calorie beer, which are certainly better than drinking regular beer. Of course, it's theoretically better to drink, but today I'm driving, and while there is the option to drink non-calorie beer, I still love beer. My fondness for alcohol hasn't changed. So, if I were at home, I would probably drink every day. It might be non-calorie beer when I'm driving, but the fact remains that I would still drink every day at home. Well, when it comes to driving, everyone drinks, but in that case, I might as well not drink non-calorie beer and just have tea or water. I want people to be able to manage their diet effectively, so rather than consuming foods that deceive themselves, they should firmly decide not to take in certain things. I hope they adopt this approach. Now, regarding the third point, when it comes to losing body fat, some people only do aerobic exercise, but if you only do aerobic exercise, it can be quite difficult to lose weight. While aerobic exercise does help burn body fat and consume calories, if you want to be more effective, I believe strength training is the better option. By doing strength training, well, that leads to... There is also consumption during and after exercise. So it's important. I hope people will not only focus on aerobic exercise, but also properly engage in strength training. At this point, I believe it should be common knowledge. Now, regarding the fourth point, I mentioned that it's good to do strength training. However, I think there is generally a lack of leg training and leg muscle workouts. By increasing the amount of leg muscle training, we can also increase the current calorie consumption. This will aid in recovery after strength training. To achieve effects that require a lot of energy expenditure, it is important to increase the volume of leg muscle training. Additionally, exercises like squats, back lunges, and Bulgarian squats significantly improve hormone levels. Focusing on small muscles like the abdominal muscles or just the arms is less effective than these compound movements, as they greatly enhance hormone secretion. This in turn increases the efficiency of burning body fat. Therefore, it is advisable to engage in such exercises. Now, moving on to the fifth point. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I think this sums up the approach to meals, aerobic exercise, and strength training. It's important not to focus solely on immediate consumption and intake. Regarding meals, we need to consider whether we are properly obtaining the necessary nutrients through a healthy diet. I want you to start from this point. Even if you go about it in a relaxed manner, you must first check whether your original meal habits are well structured. It's necessary to consider whether you have the required nutrients, vitamins, and the three major nutrients properly balanced. When these nutrients are correctly obtained, your body remains healthy, and the reduction of body fat proceeds smoothly. However, if you keep cutting back, for example, if you're lacking omega-3 fatty acids, the burning of body fat may not go smoothly. Therefore, calorie control should be pursued while ensuring that these necessary nutrients are adequately consumed. This means not just thinking about calories alone. In addition to strength training, it's important to consider hormone secretion when deciding on the type of training to pursue. By doing so, we can build a body that increases muscle mass and boosts metabolism, ultimately creating a body that burns body fat more easily in the long term. It's essential to think beyond immediate results and adopt a medium to long-term perspective. We need to consider the approach to meals, strength training, and exercise. Lastly, the sixth point is about focusing solely on exercise. As mentioned earlier, the type of exercise you choose is very important. It's important to consider what you do outside of that exercise. If you say you exercised for 30 or 40 minutes a day, what are you doing during the rest of the time? If you're just sitting around and using the car for every little movement, to be honest, it's hard to see results. You won't really tone up. It's not just about the 30 or 40 minutes or an hour of exercise, it's also crucial how you move during the rest of your day. So it's best to incorporate more activity into your daily routine. It's about taking measures to move your body frequently. For instance, walking or riding a bicycle. By doing these activities, you gradually consume energy. It's better not to rely on electric bicycles. Generally, it's said that people in Tokyo walk more, but in rural areas people tend to drive instead of walking, which affects activity levels. So it's important to consider not just exercise time, but also how active you are throughout the day. Moving around helps burn energy, and having a day where energy flows well can make it easier to burn body fat. Therefore, think about your lifestyle beyond just this time. If there are any points that you find concerning among the 6 suggestions, feel free to adjust them one by one. This way, you can achieve a more effective tightening of your body. I believe that in 10 or 20 years, you will still have a toned body, so please put in the effort.
Please subscribe the channel and follow my Instagram and X. I hope to see you next time. ありがとうございます。